I hope you guys had a great morning. It's Friday, almost to the weekend. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Just in a seat. So just that seated position, legs crossed, or um, maybe kneeling or sitting up on a pillow. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. That might be a little bit more comfortable and a little more gentle on those hips. Okay, so just sit tall, hands on these. Let's give it a few shoulder rolls. Might be a little tight, might even be a little bit grindy. It's okay, just nice and slow, stretching it out. And working out those kinks. So let's bring it forward. Relax those shoulders down and back just slightly. We'll interlace those fingers behind the back. Pull those knuckles down towards the ground first. You can keep those hands close to those hips to start. Just squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then maybe you start to bring those hands away from the hips. Take another breath. Now we'll bring those hands over to that right hip, standing or sitting tall. And then drop that right ear to that right shoulder. Inhale, bring it back up. Switching sides. Bring the hands to that left hip. And then drop that left ear down towards that left shoulder. Bring it back up. Let's bring those hands behind the back. So point those fingers back. Thumbs are pointing towards the heels. And squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lift through that chest, gazing up just slightly. And then from there, let's slide those hands forward. Now, when I do this, I like to take this front foot, bring it out a little bit so my shins are actually parallel to each other and that ankle's not crossing under it all. And then slide those arms forward, lengthen out through that spine, and then walk those hands out a little bit more. Lift through that chest, then exhale, maybe walk those hands out a little bit further. Then we'll lift back up. Walking those hands back. Let's just switch that across the legs. Then we'll walk those hands behind us. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lift through that chest. And then we'll slide those hands forward. Nice flat back. Tailbone grounds down. And then we'll walk those hands back. Sit tall, twist it over to that right side. Center to the left side. Bring it back to center. We'll roll over onto those hands and knees. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Knees are underneath those hips. On that inhale, let's drop that belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round it. Again, lift and lengthen. And round. And lift. And round. Bring it to neutral. Let's go ahead and step it back to our plank. Hold it here for a few more breaths, gripping with those fingertips, pressing the shoulder blades away. Okay, but we're not super rounded. Press the shoulder blades away and then pull that chest forward. So really, really flat back, squeezing those legs together. So struck those glutes, inner thighs, hamstrings, quads. And then dig those toes down. Pull forward, hands press down and pull back. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Hips up into down dog. So stretch out through those calves. You really want to press the hips up, press those heels down. You need to bend into those knees a little bit more. Go for it. It's okay if those heels are really high off the ground. You can't see. There you go. Now you can. As you can see, My heels are not that close. It's okay, but I'm still feeling that really big stretch through the calves, through the hamstrings. Sometimes the ankle mobility is not great. Sometimes those calves are just a little bit tight. There's a bunch of reasons why those ankles aren't down. None of them are an issue, just as long as you're feeling that good stretch. Then come onto the toes. Bend those knees, stepping those feet to the hands. Okay, bringing those hands to the shins. Flatten out that back. And then let's, with that flat back, slide the hands down. Maybe an inch. Maybe a little more. Maybe a little more. Try and keep that back nice and flat. Maybe those fingertips come all the way down to the ground with that nice flat back. So you'll feel a really big stretch through the backs of the legs. Now from here, flexing these quads. And relax. Just let that head hang. Maybe shake that head, yes. Release any tension in your neck. And then we'll bend into those knees. Flatten out the back. Let's come all the way up to standing. Reach up really tall. Interlace those fingers. Side bend to the right. Inhale back up. Side bend to the left. Inhale it back up. Keep those arms reaching up so you don't have to have the fingers interlaced. But from here, just take a big step back with that right left foot, keeping right foot's forward, left foot stepping back. Bend into that front knee. Relax those shoulders down. So we're just going to feel that stretch through that left front of the leg, that quad, that hip flexor. One more breath. Keeping the arms up. Step both feet up. Hips press forward, arms reach back. And then the arms are up. Still, right leg steps back. Press into that left heel, drop back. Right toes are pulling forward. Shoulders relax down. One more breath. And step it forward and fold. Nice flat back. Let that head hang. Let that body just fall. The torso just fall. Then bend into those knees, flatten out that back. Let's rise up to standing, reach up really, really tall. So engage through that core. So the low back is a nice neutral position. We don't want to be too arched there. Interlace the fingers, side bend to the right. Inhale it back up. Exhale it to the left. Inhale, bring it back up. Okay, with those arms up, big step back with that left foot. Bend a little deeper into that front knee. And those hands will come to heart center, twisting it over to the left side. Press into those palms, look over that right elbow. Bring it back to center, reach the arms up. Stepping those feet forward, big step back to that other side. Big bend into that front knee. Hands come to heart center and twist that right elbow comes across that left thigh. Bring it back up. And step those feet up together. Exhale, fold. Flatten out the back. Slide those hands down a little further with that straight spine. And then relax it down as we fold. One more time through. Bend into the knees, flat back, rise up. Interlace the fingers. Side bend to the right. Inhale it up to the left. Back up. Big step back with that left foot. Hands come to heart center. Twist it over to that right side. Inhale it back up. Stepping those feet forward. Other side, right leg steps back. Hands to heart center. And twist. Bring it back up. Pause. Stepping the feet forward. And fold. Flat back. And plant the hands. Go ahead and step it back to our plank. Again, let's hold this plank, warming up that core. So it's not just the core that's working here. Okay, we're planting, or digging those fingers into the mat. We're squeezing those feet towards each other. So those legs are really active. We're pulling that belly up and in. We don't want to be arched through that low back. We want to pull and fill that space. Pull it up, filling that space in the low back. And then send those hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. One more breath. Let's step that right foot outside that right hand. Back knee lowers down. We're going to be on our hands, flexing that foot. So lift that foot up, turn it out just a few degrees. So now we're just going to let this knee maybe open up to the side. Okay, it may not go very far. Apparently mine's a little tight today. Okay, I don't want you shifting the whole weight over your whole hip. I just want the knee to open up. So you're going to get maybe a little bit outside, maybe that hip flexor, inner thigh, a lot of hamstring. Just keep pulling that chest forward. You want it even more intense, just lift that back knee up. Then you'll get a little hip flexor through that back leg as well. So maybe you just hold it here for a couple of breaths. So think pressing that right heel down, pull back, left toes are pulling forward, really stabilize. It's going to be a big one. And then maybe you can lower that knee down. Maybe that knee falls open a little bit more. And then maybe you can lower down onto those forearms. So even if you're on the forearms, same idea. You can still lift that back knee, really pull right heel back, left toes forward, squeeze, and then soften it down. Let that knee open up a little bit wider. Finding a really big stretch. Come back to the hands. Step it back to that down dog. We'll go to the other side. Left leg steps outside that left hand. Back knee lowers down. So just slow that one down. Just get position, even if you had the knee up on that last side. Toes out a few degrees. And then just that knee opens up a little bit wider. Now, you can do this how I was saying, pull the left or the right toes forward. You can do it while you're on your knees too. You're still getting that stability while finding the mobility. So, right toes pull forward, left heel pulls back, squeeze. Then we can soften that knee down. Maybe go a little further into this stretch, making your way onto those forearms. Then lift that back knee, toes forward, heels back. And soften that knee down, let that knee open up a little bit more. Let's do it one more time. Squeeze and soften. Come back onto the hands. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Nice flat back. Dig into those palms. Press the forearms towards each other. And press that belly towards those thighs. Hips up, heels down. And let's go into our pigeon. So right knee to that right wrist. Foot comes across. Left leg slides back. Now, we haven't done a lot of too much quad, just a little bit. So if you want to start to bend that back knee, reach back for that foot and pull that heel right towards this, well, you can't tell, your left glute. I want that. There we go. So we don't want to yank that foot over to one side. We want that knee tracking in that nice straight line, gently pressing the foot into the hand, and then that foot will pull a little bit closer to that hip. And then go ahead and release that foot if you had it. Go ahead, lower onto those forearms. Maybe rest that head down. And come back to the hands. We'll switch sides. So let's bring that left knee to that left wrist, foot across, the right leg back. And again, option quad stretch. So bending into that right leg, left hand reaches for that foot. So again, that little push and pull. So gently press the foot into the hand and then pull it back towards you. Press and pull. One more time, press and pull. And if you have that foot, release it. Lower onto those forearms, resting that head down. And come onto those hands. Step it back down, dog. And then let's come to a seat. So up to you, but I'm going to face that long edge of the mat as we come into that wide leg position. Okay, so sit yourself up tall. We're going to feel like you're sitting on those sit bones, okay, instead of leaning back onto that tailbone. So almost like you'll feel like you're rolling over those bones as we bring those hands down, walk those hands forward, hold it back, really tall spine. Hold on. And then start to fold it forward, walking those hands out as far as you can, keeping that nice flat spine. Bring it back up. Let's side bend over to your left side. Inhale it up to the other side. Left arm reaches up and over. And bring it back up. Let's go and cross those legs. Sitting up nice and tall. Reach the arms up. We'll twist it over to your right side first. center, reaching the arms up to the other side. Back to center, closing those eyes, resting those hands on your knees, finding that breath just in and out through the nose. Focusing on the rise and fall of the belly, of the chest. Really big breath in. Nice and slow on the way out. All right, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Friday. I'm leading boot camp this HIIT class. That's what it is this afternoon. So body weight, all body weight stuff, a little more high intensity. So if you're available, love to see you there. Otherwise, have a great Friday and a great weekend.